First in line was the president of Iran, Hassan Rouhani.
Today, the United States is more isolated in regards to its policy towards the JCPOA, more isolated in regards to its conspiracy against the Iranian nation.
The Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action was signed in 2015 to keep Iran from getting nukes. The deal lifted certain sanctions that kept the nation from trading on international markets and selling oil. Trump has long been a critic of the Obama-era deal, promising on the campaign trail to rip it up.
The worst deal I think I've ever seen negotiated that you started is the Iran deal. Iran is one of their biggest trading partners. Iran has power over North Korea.
Trump accused Iran of collaborating with the DPRK to strengthen Pyongyang's missile technology.
I believe they're funding North Korea. I believe they're trading with North Korea. I believe they're doing things with North Korea that is totally inappropriate. That doesn't pertain to the deal.
The American commander-in-chief has promised to level more sanctions on Iran, but senior members of his administration seem to disagree.
Iran is in technical compliance of the agreement, and no one around the table took exception to that.
Tillerson was citing the findings of UN nuclear watchdog IAEA, which is responsible for checking in on Iran. U.S. Defense Secretary James Mattis was in step with his cabinet colleague.
If we can confirm that Iran is living by the agreement, if we can determine that this is in our best interest, then clearly we should stay with it.
Top U.S. officials fear the decertification of the deal could push Iran to a corner, forcing it to follow in the DPRK's footsteps. Rouhani says his country will improve its defense capabilities, including the development of a ballistic missile program. Speaking to NBC, Rouhani said Iran had no intention of renegotiating the current agreement.
That subsequent to such an action by the United States of America, no one will trust America again.
Zhao Yunfei, CGTN.
Well, joining me now via Skype from Washington, D.C. is Ahmad Majidyar. He's the director of the Iran Observed Project at the Middle East Institute there. Mr. Majidyar, Donald Trump tweeted earlier in the day, quote, "Participants in the deal are making lots of money on trade with Iran." Is that really the case? And if Trump does decertify the Iran nuclear deal, what type of backlash can we expect the U.S. to see?
Well, the European want very close trade ties with the Islamic Republic of Iran. And since the nuclear-related sanctions on Iran were lifted in January 2016, we've seen a lot of major European companies returning to the Iranian market. They have invested in very major multi-billion-dollar projects in the Iran's energy sector, auto industry, telecommunication, and other sectors. But that's not the primary reason that Europeans are objecting to the Trump administration's threat to abandon the deal or weaken the deal, because they see the deal as one which is delivering, which is preventing Iran from acquiring nuclear weapons, and they do not see any alternative to that. So that's why they say that we do share the Trump administration's concern about Iran's non-nuclear activities, such as the ballistic missile program or Iran's malign activities and destabilizing role in the Middle East. But these should be separate issues and not part of a renegotiation of the deal.
Now, Donald Trump has been promoting his so-called America First policy. What we've seen is that he's taken the U.S. out of one international agreement after another. Is it really in America's interest to isolate itself in this way from the rest of the world?
No, of course not. And even I think that the Trump administration is right to be concerned about some of Iran's activities in the region. But to contain that or to counter that, it needs the support of the international community, and especially those signatories of the deal, the major European powers, Germany, Britain, and France, and also China and Russia, who also signed on this agreement, to pressure Iran on those issues. And any unilateral action against Iran has not worked before and will not work now.
All right, Ahmad Majidyar, director of the Iran Observed Project at the Middle East Institute. Thanks for joining us today.